Anybody wanted at all. Totally shocked. Very hard.
Okay. I guess they shut it down because of that video. But that's okay. I don't need that. I don't need that video. I'll tell you guys. We'll talk about it. I figured that we could just get you guys caught up to what's going on with the case. But that's okay. YouTube has their policies, and I am fine with that. But let's play some videos that I took. They can't do anything about that, can they? So, welcome back, everybody. I apologize for that little mishap, but live and learn. YouTube has their policies, and I gotta obey them. So I think it's stupid, but what are you gonna do? All right. So, while we were there, when we got to Evansdale, I got to meet Drew Collins. That's Elizabeth's dad. Elizabeth is the little girl on the right here below me. On the left, I'm sorry, as you're looking at it. Um, yeah, this Drew's a great guy. Drew's a great guy. We had lunch and we talked a little bit about the case and what was going on with it and stuff like that. And Steve and I discussed, what we were there for, what the game plan was, and we got right to work. We didn't waste any time. We had things to do, people to see, so we got right to it. Now, this is Angel Park. Okay, Angels Park. Excuse me. This was Myers Lake. It was a park, and this island was overgrown back in 2012. I want to give you guys an overview because even the TV footage, from the news and all that, it doesn't really put it in perspective like this does. I put the drone up, and I wanted to fly around the area so people could see uh, what it entails. Now, the girls rode their bicycles from their neighborhood, and the bike trail comes into this area. You can see it at the very top of the screen. The bike trail goes around and it goes through the neighborhood. And that's how the girls came into the area. And you can see it's right along the highway. And actually, somebody actually saw the girls from the highway. At that time, um, the right-hand lane was closed. So the closest lane to the bike trail was two ways because they were working on the highway. So they were driving slow and close to the bike trail. So one person at least was able to see the girls riding their bikes. But this is the only section of this park that is secluded. It's the only section. So whoever is involved with this, and I believe there's more than one, they knew their way around this area. They were familiar with this area. And just to start this off with, what my opinion is of this, I think there was at least two people involved, and I think at least one of them knew at least one of the girls. To get them to leave their bikes like that, they would have had to have done some kind of a ruse, and it would have had to have been somebody the girls trusted. That's my opinion. So as you can see, the lake's not that big, and there are houses around. They were closer than I thought they would be. I thought it was a little bit more remote, but it's not. And you can see the boat ramp off in the distance, right across from the fountain. And there's a park there with swings and a tank. And like I said, that island was just overgrown back in 2012. That wasn't like it is now, and it's beautiful. I mean, the video and the pictures do nothing for it. You walk across that bridge, and it's amazing what they've done with this small island and turned it into a park. It's beautiful. They plant trees for specific people, and they have plaques and they have benches. It's amazing. What they've done there is absolutely amazing, and I know Drew is a big part of that. And hats off to you, my friend. I think Drew's watching, and I hope that whoever's involved with this is watching too. Usually they keep tabs on this kind of stuff. So I hope they are watching. I hope they know that people are still on this. We're not letting this go. Absolutely not. And it's support from you guys that allows people like Steve and I to go out there and actually do this stuff. So I want to thank everybody for that. You guys are fantastic. Now, this bike trail goes all around the whole lake. Steve and I walked around here to the right to put the drones up so we could see Steve calls it a choke point, and I think that's an appropriate thing to call it, because there's fence on both sides. They're basically trapped in there, and nobody could see. Even now, with everything being cleared out and everything's being groomed and maintained, you still, that area is still secluded. It's still secluded, and I was surprised actually at how far away from the end of the fence line the bikes were. They had to walk a pretty good way, so that's why I say they must have known the person or persons, I believe this too, involved with this. They wouldn't just leave their bikes there at all. So let's take, I put the drone up. Now that you've seen an overview of it, this is the drone footage. And this is coming from left to right as we were just looking at it. The highway is on the right side, on the other side of this fence in the bushes. And as you can see, if you're riding your bike down here, once you get into this area here, it's really secluded. And the highway is very, very loud. Now, I don't know how loud it was back then because they were working on it. It might have been even louder. But Steve and I had a hard time talking to each other if we were far away because of the noise. And because inside here, between these trees, it just swallows up. It's not like nothing's going to echo. It just absorbs all the sound. But yeah, Grace, the monster knew this area well. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And you'll see that once we get done with this area, I'm going to take you guys, I actually videotaped the whole ride out to Seven Bridges. I'll fast forward a little bit, but I wanted you guys to get the idea of what was going on, what the girls had to deal with, okay? Now, nobody knows for sure how the abduction took place. We're only surmising. We're trying to come up with a plan on how to put something together. And Steve has an excellent plan. So we put that into play. Excuse me. Now, as you can see, my bag here on the left-hand side, that's where the bikes were, approximately, in that general area. That's where they found the bikes. And you'll be able to see here in a second, there's a case on the other side of the fence. That's my iPad case. That's approximately where the purse was. Now, it wasn't groomed. It was all grown high grass, just like it is just to the right of this area. So it was hard to see right off the bat, but it was a pink purse. And there's a gate right there. They're able to open the gate and go in and get it. But it was very close to where the bikes were found. Now, if you guys watch this, and I was surprised, right? Because I hadn't walked it yet. Steve and I got there and we took the drones out, and he went with his first, and then I went with mine. I'm surprised we didn't crash them together. He was smart enough to put his way up in the air. But look how long this walk is. And unless you go there, you can't Google Earth this to understand what's going on here. You have to go walk it and see how secluded it really is. Yeah, Dave, what happened is at the end of this fence, somebody saw a white SUV type vehicle, Suburban or something like that, parked at the end of the fence. Now, I guess some people park there to go fishing. They go in through that gate and they can fish right there. So I don't think that they thought it was, totally out of place at the time, you know. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct, Kimmy. Now, once I get to the end here, you'll see that area where the truck was allegedly parked. We're trying to get confirmation of that. I reached out to law enforcement while I was there. Obviously, they didn't get back with me. Who am I? But I let them know that Steve and I were there and that we would like to talk to them, and they obviously didn't get back with me. But that's okay. It happens. Sometimes you just got to do things on your own, and we'll do it. We'll be fine. Yeah, Junior, the person who did this could have put the bikes there, absolutely. But where the bikes were found and the purse was found, if there was a ruse and they were walked up here to a vehicle, that's a pretty long walk. That's a pretty long walk, and you'd have to have a pretty good ruse. You'd have to know the girls or have something to tell them to get them to go with you, to trust you to go with you if they didn't know you. So if the vehicle was parked right here, and from what I understand, people park there once in a while to go fishing, like I said. Now, you're not supposed to drive on this at all, and everybody knows that, but, people do what they want to do. Yeah, we gave them a heads up. I was more looking for help, for some information, but they didn't get back with me, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Like I said, who am I? All right, so let's go to this one. This is from that area. That's the area right there. And we're driving away from it. And we're heading out to Seven Bridges, which is a refuge area. And anybody, whoever's involved with this, not only did they know this area, they knew Seven Bridges area very well. Because you'll see once we get there that it's not easily, you can't get back there without knowing where you're going. And if Steve didn't point me in the right direction and we didn't walk there first, I would never have thought about going back there. There wasn't a hiking trail. It was more like a small game trail. Yeah, that's the thing, Stefan. Unless you go there, that's why I'm so grateful to all you folks to allow us to go there, to support us, because we could go there and we could see it. And we can feel it, and we can feel it underfoot, and we can smell it. This is almost on the anniversary. So the foliage was basically the same as it is while we're here. Now, as you can see, we're driving out to Seven Bridges. It goes through neighborhoods at first, and then it starts getting into some long. Let me see. Let's see if I can get this off here. There we go. Goes through some neighborhoods, and there's a lot of stop signs, so it's kind of risky. Okay, so we're trying to put ourselves in both the perpetrators' frame of mind and the girls. Okay, so I don't like to think like this. I don't like to have to think like this. I don't want to think like this, but you have to. Because it happened. Okay, and so they got picked up and they got driven out to Seven Bridges. And these are just neighborhoods. And I'm sorry that the camera keeps going in and out of focus. I'm an idiot. I don't know how to run an iPhone yet. But I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Once it gets through all these residential areas, it gets into a rural like this here. And it's basically a straight shot. Hey, Wonder Girl. No, not that I'm aware of. We spoke to a few people. We went. We took a ride. We looked up some folks. We talked to some folks. I don't have much patience, to be honest with you. I was driving Steve nuts, to be honest. Telling him, listen, we need to stop. Why I need to go knock on the door and talk to these people. Because that's the only way that I know to get anything done is knock and talk. But as you can see, this highway, it's just barren. It goes past a few homes. And if you don't know if you don't see this sign, right, and it's coming up here on the right-hand side, it's a little tiny brown sign. If you don't know that this turn is here, and actually Steve used Google Maps, and it said to turn left up here instead of right, but he was smart enough to figure that out. So he was able to turn right and find his way down here. Now, if you'll see it coming up here on the right, it's just a little tiny brown sign. And I'm sorry there's no audio. Steve and I were talking about the case the whole time, and there's some things that we just don't want out there that we were talking about, so I had to take the audio off. But that's okay. You get to hear me talk, and that's always a pleasure. I know you guys love hearing me talk with my stupid accent. And even out Midwest, people gave me a hard time about my accent. Gave me a hard time. Can you believe that? I'm a nice guy. I'm quiet, unopinionated, reserved. I don't make fun of anybody. I mind my business. But no, they picked on me. All right, you can see the brown sign there. That's it. That is it. That's the only thing that indicates. And that points left. That's that's crazy. Okay, so now once you turn off the road and you go back here, it's like it's not a dirt road. It's like a crushed rock road. It's maintained. You can tell it's maintained. Hey, Sleuth, how are you, buddy? You can tell the road's maintained. They grade it, and I'm sure they tear it up in the wintertime when they're plowing it. Well, that's what Wonder Girl. We're trying to add some technology to this whole thing. We're on it. We're on it. Steve's pretty smart. Steve's really smart. Yeah, gravel. There you go. I'm from Florida. We have limestone roads. Four Pits. What's up, brother? Yeah, this is Kirsty, whoever did this, and I never say the F word. That's right, Ruth. I haven't said it yet. But I'm sure that I'm going to get upset as this podcast goes on, because this is very disheartening. This pisses you off, is what it does. And to be there in that area and know that the person that's responsible for this is more than likely in that area, that really pisses you off. That pisses you off to no end. Hey, Mustang, how are you? So as you can see, this is not just a little hike. Someone would have to know where to go. And when you get up here a little ways, the road forks. It goes around to the right, which I think leads to another property, but you got to go straight there, and you have to know to go straight. I was amazed when we drove out there. We went the first day, and here again, I'm not patient at all. When we got to Delphi, as soon as we got there, I wanted to go to the crime scene and to the bridge. When we got to Evansdale, first thing I want to do is go to the abduction site and then to the crime scene. And Steve is such a good guy. He entertained me. He entertained me, and it was almost dark both times when we got there. But I'm just so impatient. It's not one of my my better qualities. I'm not patient at all. Steve is very patient. He's very good at what he does. And I'm there to protect him. I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but before we went, all I heard was, Ruckus, please take care of Steve. Please, Ruckus, take care of Steve. And what are they saying about me? Oh, we'll get you bail money, right? Like I'm going to get locked up out there or something. But take care of Steve. Don't let nothing happen to Steve. So while we were at lunch with Drew, I told Drew, yeah, I'm just here to protect Steve, the national treasure. He's a national treasure, so I have to take care of him. And I didn't do a very good job because he cut his hand when we were walking through the woods. I got caught in a thorn bush. Now, I guess I was supposed to throw myself on the thorn bush so he didn't get cut. Here's where the road peels off to the right, and you can see that's more traveled. Going straight across here, you can see it's not well beaten. So And the quality of the road changes a little bit. This one's not as well maintained at all. Now the area, surprisingly, was almost sterile, and you'll see when we pull up there. It's a party spot. People party there. Yeah, I had one job, Sleuth. That's right. But you know what? You know what nobody talks about is that same trip through the woods. I got a thorn right in the top of my bald ass head, and I was bleeding like a stuck pig. You know how heads bleed. Nobody mentions that. But poor Steve, I should have thrown myself on the thorn bush to protect him. The national treasure. I kept telling him, if you're such a treasure, I'm going to bury you while we're out here this week. How do you like that? Yeah, it is beautiful, GP, and it's unfortunate, you know. Now, if you go straight down this road, it's hard to see here, but there's a gate that's closed, and I don't know where that goes to. I don't know if Steve knows, but we're going to take a left here and to go back to the area where the crime scene was. Oh, boo. Thanks, Ruth. Thanks. Oh, the love and the support here is it's heartwarming. Now there to the left, if you went left, that just goes around in a loop. Really doesn't do anything. It's all overgrown like this, and there's one little mowed out spot with an old fire ring. Looks like they have it so you can camp there if you'd like to. But driving here, and this is why I want to make this video so you guys could come along with us and actually see what it's like. You can't, the overhead shots and the newsreels and all that just doesn't do it any justice. Driving back there is eye-opening. It was eye-opening. There's no place to go here. Now, if you go to the left here, that's just that loop. It goes around, it's not very long. It's just a little loop that has one campsite. But as you can see, it's nice and clean here. Like I said, it's almost sterile. And the second day that we went back here, there was two vehicles, and there was a man, his grandson, his great-grandson, his great daughter-in-law, I guess you'd call it, grandson's wife. And, we were talking to them a little bit. But you can see there's a fire pit there. And actually, this day, somebody came from the county and cut the grass, and when we went back the next day, the little bit that was around that fire pit was cleaned up. But you can see this is all overgrown. And this is the anniversary, the 11th anniversary of the girl's abduction. So this is basically what it was like. Now, I'm sure there's some erosion and some trees have died and the such. But this is basically what it was like. The same kind of foliage. And you can see the river's beautiful. The river, creek, whatever they call it. I don't know, but it's beautiful. It's bigger than Deer Creek, that's for sure. And they're saying that they pull out 24-inch fish out of there. I didn't see any. I looked, but see, that table was gone the next day. But there's nothing there. There's not a gum wrapper on the ground. That right there that I zoomed in on, that's what I'm going to be walking towards. That is it's like a sandbar. It's all crushed shells and small rocks, river rocks, and stuff like that. But there's one way in, one way out. Period. End of story. And that was the national treasure right there. For those of you who don't know Mr. Steve, that was the national treasure. Okay, so now this picture here. Okay, this is from the news. You can see the area where the vehicles are. That's where we just parked. Now, this is in December, so a lot of the foliage is gone. Everything's brown. Everything's dead. But you can see up in the top left right-hand corner, those two white dots. Those are the girls' remains. Those are sheets on the girls. So, and you're going to see here, I'm going to take you guys through, and you can walk with me. I videoed it. Over to this sandbar area, and then back to where the girls' remains were found. And I'll tell you what, it's not a pleasant walk. One of the girls had flip-flops on. The undergrowth is like viney, and it's prickly, and there's ticks and everything else out there. So it's not a pleasant walk at all. But this is, from that's the campsite there. And this is going into the trail, and you can notice it a little bit. It is a very tiny game trail. It's not very hard to lose it. A couple times I got off the beaten path and ended up going way around. And Steve's like, what the hell are you doing? I said, I don't know. I'm from Boston, man. I'm not used to the woods. Yeehaw, all that. I'm not used to that. Okay, now just imagine this. Okay, you're walking back here with these people, a person. We're not sure yet, but I think it's two people. To be honest with you, for several reasons. And anybody that wants to contact me on Discord and discuss this stuff, there's some things I just don't want to talk about. Some I won't because I can't. But it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. It's the spiders, snakes, all kinds of critters. I think I saw like 4 or 5 different types of droppings. Some were larger than droppings, but we were both armed, so we weren't worried about any animals or anything like that. But as you can see, this is not an easy walk. Okay, look how high up this stuff has grown, and so this grass is like razor grass. If I didn't have pants on, I'm sure I would have cut my legs all up. And it's not an easy walk. I mean, you're dipping under trees, you're going around things, you're trying to stay on the trail. Sometimes you get off it, sometimes you don't. And then even this video doesn't do justice to the grass because there are some low areas. And you lock your leg out, if you know what I'm talking about, because you think you're stepping on level ground, but it dips down, but the grass is all the same height, so you kind of lock your leg out. You have to be careful, especially, I'm almost 60 years old, and Steve's way older than I am. Steve farts dust. Steve's way older than me, which is nice. I can always call that on him. But, here's a couple old grumpy guys out in the middle of the woods, dropping dimes and solving crimes. Like I said, we're out there. We're trying to figure things out. And I told this to Sleuth one time, and he went somewhere, and he understood what I was saying after he went to where he was going, is you have to be there. You have to smell it. You have to feel it. You have to, go through what people are going through at that time and at the crime scene. So as you can see, it's coming up to a little bit of a clearing. But yet this grass is over waist tall. It's ridiculously tall. Got a super chat from 63 Clocks. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You're awesome. I appreciate that. It's support from people like yourself that keeps us going. It really is, and we appreciate that. But this grass is very, very tall, and it's like razor grass. It's crazy. But just I want to read that super chat. It says, thank you, Ruckus. Keep doing what you're doing to help victims and their families. Absolutely. I'm going to do it either way. I'm hooked now. I'm hooked. I got to meet these families, and they're amazing people. They're amazing people. Now, I took a second video here just so you guys can see the height of the grass. I went in a little bit, and Steve was standing like out towards the edge so that you could see how high it was on him and how dense the foliage here in the trees and stuff like that. It's really dense. I mean, even the video, I'm sure this is helping you guys understand a lot more than what you've seen before. But even with this video, it doesn't really show you how tall it is. But here I am. I went into the grass a little bit, and I've got this at eye level. And look at Steve. Look how tall the grass is, And we're steady. Him and I, the whole time, we're talking about the case. We're talking about, what we can do to help. We're not there just to bring awareness to this case, which is also important. Bringing awareness is very important. This case deserves more attention. But we're trying to assist. We're trying to do things. And thank God we have the opportunity to do that. We're doing the best we can. Now, standing on that sandbar, that's looking back at the truck. Okay, and I zoomed it back. So if If you were the perpetrator, you would be able to see. If you hear a noise, you'd be able to poke your head out and see if anybody's there. That's the only way in and out of there. That's it. And these girls were way back in here. Way back in here. Whoever did this knew this area. Knew this area. Fucking asshole. Piece of shit that did this knew this area. And trying to get into his head to think about, why would he take them here? Why would he take the... There's tons of places between the abduction site and this place where they could have, if their intention was just to grab the girls and then dump them, there's tons of places. Why here? Steve and I discussed that, and we've come up with a couple theories. But why here? Why'd they bring him here? Why'd this asshole bring him here? This animal, this piece of shit, oxygen thief. And he's local, and I hope he's watching. And I hope he's one of my knock and talks. Tell you what, that'd be sweet. That'd be sweet. I pray they get him and lock him up for good. Yeah, that'd be too good for him. That'd be too good for him. I pray they get him. But no, Bossy, I don't think there's a connection to Delphi at all. At all. Yeah, Shane, exactly. He felt safe. He's used to this area. He's been there. But you see, this is all crushed rock and shoal and shells and stuff like that. So it's loud to walk on, and it's rather soft. You sink into it a little bit. But we're trying to figure out why here. Now it's a good spot. Once you get there, and these assholes had been there and said, hey, you know what? This would be a good spot if we ever do something like this. And it's just, yeah, he's very comfortable. He's very comfortable. We were looking at registered sex offenders. We pulled up a list of registered sex offenders in the area, and outdoorsmen and stuff like that. There's a lot that you have to go over and mull over. I'm like a bull in a china shop. I'm in there. I'm ready to kick ass and take names, where Steve is more methodical. And I'm telling you what, I was very impressed. I learned a lot from Steve during this trip, especially that he's the craziest driver that I've ever been with. But he's a good driver. He's a good driver. I don't want anybody to think he's a bad driver. He's just my toes dug through the soles of my shoes. We spent 8 hours a day almost, average, in the truck together. But this is at the park, okay, and the girls have their own bench, and it's heartbreaking to see. And this is a little it's made out of wood, and it's a nice painting of angel wings, and you can stand on the steps and stuff like that. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to stand there and to look at this stuff. It is. It breaks my heart. Talking with Drew, I got to spend. We had lunch with Drew, and then the next day, this whole community rallies around these families, and they get together once a year, and they have a bike/ride. You can drive your car, you can ride your motorcycle, and there's hundreds of bikes, and there's all kinds of cars, and the whole community shuts down, and they all sit out on their front lawn like it's a parade, and they have signs of support, and they're waving at everybody, and they're so supportive, and they're so kind. It's amazing. It sucks that it took something like this for me to see that kind of love and support. So it's kind of bittersweet, but at the same time, it's amazing how these people get together and they support the families. And I got to spend some time with Drew the night before, met some of his friends. I got to meet Larry Crum, Amanda Crum's father. He's a great guy. We hit it right off. I had a blast with these guys. I had a blast. Genuine good people. And I wanted to bring this case. out into light and go over everything and bring everybody to these areas so that you can see it. And tomorrow night, I am going to have Drew Collins on. That's Elizabeth's dad. And Drew's going to come on with me, and we're going to talk a little bit. And whatever he wants to say. He's a great guy. I'm telling you, he's amazing. He needs to come to Florida to visit me. But I don't mind going out there. There's no humidity. So it didn't break my heart at all, to go out there. There's a lot of driving, but it was definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. I'm going to do some more on Delphi and Flora. That struck a chord with some people. Some people got really upset that I was there, but nothing I can do about that. I got to be there to see it and touch it, like I said. And if they don't like it, too bad. But for right now, I just want to focus on this case and bring Drew on. And eventually I'm going to have Larry Crum on. He's another beautiful human being. We hit it right off. Larry does not pull any punches. I think he cusses just a little bit more than I do, but he has every right in the world to do that. Every right in the world. But if you guys can make it tomorrow, I'm going to have Drew on, and we'll go over some more stuff with the case. He knows everything about this case, and we can go over how frustrating it is. How his life has changed, how it was before 2012, and now 11 years on, and there's no closure with this, none. And it won't be from a lack of trying. I'll tell you guys right now, it's not going to be from a lack of trying on Steve and I's part. I'm brand new to this, so it's new to me. I'm hot and heavy on this. I'm ready to roll. So if you guys can, please join me tomorrow night and show some support for Drew. He's, like I said, he's a great guy. You guys are going to love him, and it'll really bring it home. It'll really bring it home to meet these folks. And when you get to meet Larry, you're going to love him as well. It's just it sucks that I got to meet them under these circumstances, but I'm a better person for meeting them. They're very strong, and there's a reason that the community stands behind them and supports them because they're fantastic people. I didn't get to meet Heather this trip, or Lyric's parents. I didn't get to meet them. I did meet Drew's mom. She's a sweetheart. She gave me a hard time too about my accent, which I loved. I love it. But if you guys could please, tomorrow I've got the thumbnail up, Cleo. Tomorrow will be at 6:30, same time, and I won't play any news clips. God forbid, I'll put the link to that news clip so that you can see it. But we'll do this same time tomorrow. If you guys would please swing by, at least just come by and say hello to Drew. You won't regret it. That guy's a genuine person. Genuine person. You are welcome, Grace. It's our pleasure, to be honest with you. And I know I can speak for Steve with that. We're going back soon. And I'm going back to Delphi soon. So we've got some other things that we're working on. We're going to be going out to California working on a cold case involving serial killers. And I'll have the young lady who got me involved with that case on doing a live with me pretty soon. Her name is Heather. And we're going to be going out there and we're going to try and find her mom. So we're on it. We're doing stuff. And I'm so glad that I met Steve and I'm able to get out there and do it. And again, thank you for all your support. The only way that we can do this is from you guys helping us out. That's the only way we can do it. All right. So you guys have a great day. And don't take any wooden nickels. Be good. My name is Ruckus. Thanks for hanging out. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'm 10-7.